Oh, I like the new camera.
Hey guys,
position.
welcome back to the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch?
And we are live with Andrew Prell. Andrew is the founder and CEO of Convergence. And Andrew, welcome.
Thank you for
Glad to
having
talk
me.
to you. We had
here.
a lot of really good conversation before we fired up this broadcast.
And we wasted it all, right?
Oh, it's coming back around. Don't you worry, guys. We're bringing
Definitely.
it back around. So let's start off first, though, before we get into all that, because that's lots of good rabbit holes. How did you find crypto in the first place?
How did I first find crypto?
Yeah, how did you run into this whole space?
Roughly 2011, I am designing and putting on what was called Startup Icon TV.
Okay.
And I ran into, I'm the world's worst name, so give me a second here. One of the first guys into the space, Jared Kenna.
Okay.
Glad I got his name. And Jared was trying to convince me to use our point mechanism with this new thing called Bitcoin. And I had to look at him and say, look, I don't have a budget for all these viewers to spend 25 cents a Bitcoin. And he goes, no, it's broken. You can break it up. I'm like, we don't have a budget for 25 cents a Bitcoin.
Jesus.
So that was my first introduction to Bitcoin back then. We didn't use it, but I knew about it. And I'm a technologist, and I like using technology. So when we started designing the Silicon Nexus project, it was a natural fit for basically securing all the digital assets for the video games.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did Convergence come to be? What inspired you to build this project? And do you want to give us a little background about what it accomplishes?
Well, it's something that the team members have been building either knowingly or unknowingly since the early 90s.
Oh, wow.
With everything that they're doing. I started in virtual reality in 1988 with Autodesk.
Okay.
I created one of the first U.S. manufactured virtual reality arcade systems, second one in the world.
Wow.
So it was the first U.S. manufacturer, called the Reality Rocket, with Alternate Worlds Technologies company I formed, but our first title was Wolfenstein VR. So we got the source code. Yeah, we got the source code from Carmack on that, made Wolfenstein VR. And that pretty much broke me into the arcade space and the game space. And I got a lot of really good, powerful friends in there, one of which is Frank Ballou. Frank started at Atari in its first year.
Wow.
Became their national sales and marketing manager for Atari way back then. And everybody in the out-of-home entertainment space knows him, loves him. He's got like one of the strongest Rolodexes out there. So that's when I found Frank, and then I found a bunch of other friends like David Bishop, who was the Chief Operating Officer for Bandai Namco for 26 years. Kevin Williams, who was one of the team members that built Disney Quest. Met Kevin Backus early on in his career. He was the project manager for DirectX at Microsoft. Then when we met him, Frank and I met him, he was in this black box project inside of Microsoft that ended up turning into the Xbox. And Kevin Backus' role was to build a third-party ecosystem for the Xbox. And a lot of that knowledge came into this. So what we decided to do, what started really the genesis of creating the Silicon Nexus project, was my team members from way back in the early 90s calling me up, laughing their butts off. I was going to say something else, but we're broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
We
We have fun here all the time.
Don't worry.
Yeah, no worries.
But, about Facebook buying Oculus for what was it? 2 billion ended up being $4 billion. Which is just, at the time, that was, we were the largest head-mounted display purchasers in the world that was non-military back in the 90s because Virtuality, or W Industries, built their own headsets.
That's crazy.
So we were the largest back then. And we got content from Carmack. And now Carmack is doing head-mounted displays. We're listing software.
Nice.
So, actually, literally, Facebook bought Oculus. They called me up. It's like, everything old is new again. Everything's upside down. What should we do? And we started researching the whole industry. And we saw that what we found really, broke our hearts. the majority of the threads out there boiled into a couple major topics from the gamers, and that basically says, no matter how they sliced it, it was there's no more innovation in video games. Everything is just reskinned old ideas. And to somebody that grew up creating video games since I was 12, that's the video game industry drives innovation. What's that all about? So we started looking at what needed to happen, what could happen, what should happen, and literally, like I said, we'd all been building towards this our entire lives. And let's say a couple years into the project, one of our teammates came around and gave everybody a book called Ready Player One, because it was so scary that it looked like he was looking over our shoulder our whole lives.
Right.
Jeez.
So effectively, the best way to conceptualize our long-term vision is the oasis out of Ready Player One. It's a cross-reality virtual universe, and I can get into the details of that.
Right.
But realize that blockchain and cryptocurrencies, that's just a backbone feature to it. So what we're building, the Silicon Nexus project, is we call it a cross-reality virtual universe with a blockchain backbone to secure all the digital assets for the players.
Okay.
So when you go and build an operating system for a video game, you try to see all the problems that you can solve. One of the biggest problems that we see out there is that video gamers have hundreds of thousands. I mean, I know kids that have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets.
Right.
And they get ripped off when they try to convert it to cash. Because, life happens. Every once in a while, you need to pay rent.
Yeah.
And as a gamer, you don't know what time it is usually.
Right.
So, and if all your value is tied up in those video games, you need to liquidate some of it. And when you have to liquidate $10,000 worth of stuff to end up with $1,000 to pay your bills,
Right.
that's kind of sad. But there's that much demand out there that makes it work, that people keep doing it over and over again because they need to get the cash. But they're still going to play the video games and accrue all that value.
Right.
So we use you put the blockchain in the middle of that, you remove all of that fraud theft right away, just get rid of it. And that's the reason we're using it.
That's awesome. And so that's how you're utilizing the NFT type of token for
Initially,
tokenizing the in-game items?
Well, actually, initially we were planning on just using a universal currency around there. We kind of backdoored into the video game items out there with when CryptoKitties came out and the non-fungible tokens actually started coming of age. That's when we stumbled into this way of removing the customer acquisition costs from video games using NFTs. And it's kind of an interesting formula when you put it all together, because it's part technology and part human behavior. And I guess you want me to walk down that path for you, right?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All right.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
Let's go down that rabbit hole. All right, so the first part of it is non-fungible tokens are the first time that video game items, like swords in World of Warcraft, skins, that kind of thing, can live and be traded outside the video game.
Right.
Okay? Securely, where the video game can feel comfortable letting it out and bringing it back in. So that's the first piece. Then the second piece is human behavior. If you are to choose an item, a toy, from a group of things, and you say, I want to purchase this toy and take it home with me, what are you going to do with the toy?
I hope you're going to play with it.
Right, exactly. How do you play with a video game item?
Use it in the game.
Right.
In the game. So that's the second part of the puzzle. Third part is, where do you find a ready batch of hundreds of millions of players each and every month to choose these non-fungible tokens, these video game items, from something else each and every month? You find that, you put the whole piece of puzzle together.
Right.
Well, just so happens on the other side of our equation, the out-of-home entertainment industry, 500 million people roughly. There's 80,000 family entertainment centers around the world that trade tickets for prizes that are let down.
Yes.
I'm being nice.
You're
here,
not
okay?
wrong. You're not wrong.
But every month, 500 million people do that.
Right.
So we've developed what we call a digital vending machine that vends non-fungible tokens in exchange for those tickets. We compete with those prizes, and our tagline for what we call the Prize Nexus is prizes that don't suck.
Gotcha.
Prizes that
So
don't
we're
suck.
visualizing here. Like,
Wow, this sounds
Credit
familiar.
machine or arcade or something like that, but instead of getting the stupid little frog that hops along the table or a bucket of Skittles or something, you end up getting a real usable in-game item.
That's a lot of tickets to get a whole bucket of Skittles.
Oh, okay. By bucket of Skittles, we're talking about 12.
Yes.
Mini bucket of
Mini
Skittles.
Right.
We've got one of those long tubes of Airheads for like 9,700 tickets or something.
Yes.
My 5-year-old, you should have seen his face. He was so happy. But
Yeah.
The
And how much?
tickets,
And how much did that cost you in real cash?
I got really lucky and I hit the jackpot on that, the one that drops the balls as it goes around. And it was so close to hitting 500, which is the max, and then it just stays at 500, and the timing gets really easy. And so I sat there and got it. And
But still, how much money did
like
you have in?
$100 for like 25 cents worth of Airheads.
Oh my God.
But it was a birthday party, and I've got 3 boys, and that $100 was an experience.
Right.
But,
Exactly.
But now you
But
can
when
take
you
that
trade-
experience
right.
and actually come out of it with something that's not $5
Right.
worth of junk.
Well, you come out of it with something that retains value when you leave the arcade.
Right.
Because
And not
those
just value,
skid-
but usage. The use.
Usage?
You know, it
Yes.
still has use after you leave. It's not one little tiny funky thing that you're just going to stick on the
Right.
shelf and forget about. So,
Yeah, so the beautiful thing of where we're going with this, or where we're at, is effectively the modern community, the modern teenager. Would rather have a digital item than a physical item. I mean, literally, I would be willing to
weird.
bet if we lined up 100 high school seniors and we put an ounce bar of gold on this table and a Fortnite item,
I was going to say, like, the most
90
kick-ass Fortnite skin you've ever seen or whatever, they're going to be all over the Fortnite.
99% of those kids coming through here, I won't say 100, but 99% of them will probably take that Fortnite
Oh, yeah.
item.
You're
over
going
that
to look at
bar.
the gold and be like, what can I do with this?
Exactly.
This
Right.
doesn't do me any good.
Right.
You know? It's one of those things. So we're going to go on a little tangent here. We're probably not going to go very far, but I'm just visualizing this experience, but I think would be enjoyable. And you've probably already thought about this, but so you have these in-game items. Let's say you go to an arcade, and then you combine that with augmented reality, and so you can look around, and there's, instead of the little shitty prizes on the wall, you can see your skin and your armor and your
Right.
sword hanging up on the wall, and then you collect it, and then you go home, and then you can display your sword in augmented reality on your own wall until you're ready to use it in the game, and then you
Oh,
collect
that's
it,
cool.
and you go.
What
All right.
walked us into discovering the Prize Nexus is what is now our stage 2, okay, which is called Sarah. Sarah, S-A-R-A, it named itself, and literally we were talking about it for a year before we realized that it named itself. It's a Silica Nexus augmented reality app. So it's funny that you bring that up. I think Pokemon Go with a purpose to drive foot traffic wherever we want them because of non-fungible tokens. Okay, we send you a quest on your phone to get the biggest kick-ass thing you want out of the video game you
Right.
like. You're going to follow our path
Right.
to wherever
Combine
we
that
send
with
you.
physical marketing to physical brick and mortar retail stores and things
Or
like
your
that.
physical,
Or
no,
whichever.
not necessarily marketing. It's just game experience. The quest, you end up at Dave and Buster's. You end up
I got you.
at Laser Blaze. You end up,
Oh, cool.
you know,
Oh, okay,
and you're
okay. So
doing
there
a
you go.
quest, and you get there, and you end up at Papa's Pizzeria or whatever,
Right.
and you complete the quest there, and then you get another side quest. You've been in games, you know side quest. Well, they're going to thank you for saving their pizzeria from the aliens or whatever. And so now, if you do
love
this
it.
other little mini quest, you get free Coke or a free pizza.
J-Mac,
That's awesome.
brother, what's up?
We talk a lot about gamifying things in general. There's so many
Right.
things that can be gamified and made exciting. I mean, like you say, going back to the gold comparison with the kids these days, like, you know, we're so used to the concept of like, oh my God, it's so cool to win a T-shirt, or like, we like the physical items because that's what we've come from. But gamifying things and bringing it into their current world, which is gaming and playing and winning things like that, is important. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities in the new software applications that are coming out, and people are seeing that and they're starting to gamify. Like, we were just talking to a guy yesterday that was gamifying exchange.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, he's bringing new people in and they get play a game and they actively trade. And then he set
Right.
limits to protect them and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can gamify everything. It's crazy where it's going.
Well, believe it or not, I wrote a couple articles on Medium on how to gamify VC.
Really?
And we're going to try to do that with our crypto. So
I gotta go read those. Gamifying venture capital.
it's
that
called
sounds-
Blockchain versus the VC.
Okay.
That is the what and the how that we're setting up 10 different investment funds.
Uh-huh.
The 10th one being
Paulie P.
the 10th one being a DAO.
Sorry.
Not a problem. and the 9 professional managers. Now, that's the what and how we're doing. And then I wrote another article later explaining the why, which is called the virtuous circle of a token-based investment fund. And it theorizes what would have happened had Kevin Backus used an Xbox token instead of cash when he went around and invested in all those games to try to find the right one for Halo to break into the marketplace. Had all those players had to go through that Xbox token when Halo came out, it wouldn't have mattered if he'd invested in 100,000 games that failed. All it takes is that one exploding. 24 million people bought the Xbox just to play Halo. Now it's like 110 million. Can you imagine 110 million on one token?
That'd be crazy.
That,
It would be.
that are spending the amount they spend on games?
Right. Right.
Insane.
Welcome to our droid.
Changes things, doesn't it?
Right. Right.
That's our droid token.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Love it. It was
Oh my God.
Excellent explanation all the way through.
Yes.
Touched on a lot of
This
great things.
this space is so diverse, and there's so much to be educated on, right? And
And learn and
learn, right? And I
explore
think the unity and the coming together of all these different people, right, for the same purpose at the end of the day is its end user experiences,
Oh,
right?
exactly,
That's
yes.
what it's all about. And the fact that you can monetize it and you can actually make money doing it, what you're passionate about and what you love, that is the coolest thing about crypto, really. And I don't know, I feel so good about the movement and so good about being able to do things like this, like we're doing right now. It's pretty intense.
Oh, yeah.
It
It's
really
great.
is.
One of the
great.
one of the best features that I like about this player acquisition engine that we've come up with
Okay.
is it balances the playing field between the AAA game studios and the indie game developers. Because literally, I've met indie game developers that pulled together 10 friends, and they've sunk over $10 million worth of labor into building this gorgeous game. But they can't come up with 200 grand between the 10 of them to properly QA it, and they sure can't come up with 44 million it's going to take to market it. And
But think about that, $44 million to market something. Just to market it. Basically, marketing is advertisement, right?
yeah, it's everything involved in how you get a player to adopt your game.
Okay. All right.
So, which is mainly marketing.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, think
The
about
pursuit,
that.
right.
Think about that astronomical figure that you just threw out there for marketing, just to bring it to somebody's attention, right? Whereas I think a lot of the crypto space opens that marketing venue up to the average person to be able to see it, and the cost isn't as extreme.
No, I mean, here, video game items to a game company cost them really nothing because they've already built it once to be in the game,
Right.
and to replicate it is essentially free. But yet to the players, some of those items are the world. I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
they will go through hell and fire and fury.
Yes,
to,
exactly.
To accomplish that. I mean, I've been on raids with 50 people for 4 hours. We're 3.5 hours in there. The one guy messes everything up. You got to start all over again.
Now,
Right, it's like,
mind you, I have a son, right? And my son is usually upstairs in the barn. I have a shop, and I have a 2-story barn that I do we do our podcast. I'm in my barn. I'm on the first floor doing my podcast, and we'll be doing a podcast, and all of a sudden I'll hear him just yelling, screaming, jumping, stomp his feet, and I'm like, oh, he just got his ass kicked. He's playing these group
great.
video games with his friends, and
And
it's just,
one of them messes up.
yeah, and it's insane, and I don't know, something needs to come of the name video game because it's so much more. It seems for everybody
where
that's
it's
into it.
where it's evolving is literally the Oasis. I mean,
Right.
it's where it's more where people live, work, learn, and play inside of this digital experience that's shared around the world, and the only time you get out of it is to sleep, go to the bathroom, and maybe eat.
But now let me ask you this: what does this do to humanity as far as people coming together as people, and not isolating themselves? Because you're seeing a lot more youth, right? Isolating themselves from other people,
Oh, you
short
should-
of on their video games where they have all this networking, right? And they got 20 guys playing this one game, right? That's their only interaction, though,
Okay, you're like me. You got some gray in your beard.
yeah, right?
You should listen to like Ninja and stuff, like read his book, and that, I mean, people think it's isolating. They're isolating, and really what they're doing is building into this massive community that their world is inside the network. Their
Right.
world is in there. I know people because of World of Warcraft that the first time that they met in real life was at their wedding
It's crazy.
back in 2004, and they're still married today with 4 kids.
Shut the front door.
You know, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before.
Awesome.
You know, we talked about on a podcast like a week ago about how sometimes technology transcends other types of things that we're doing.
Right.
And so, like, gaming is kind of that way. Like, technology has transcended the social opportunity things that we have, where now you're all in the game, so you're absorbed in your game, and the majority of your interaction comes from within that game. But as the community becomes more established in the gaming world, and gaming becomes more established and credible in the world,
Right,
the
in
tech
real life.
industry in general,
Yeah.
we start seeing more stuff like we're seeing with crypto, where we have like these conventions and they have these big, massive gaming competitions. And so before, where you were just sitting on your couch.
Right.
By yourself, like you weren't even connected on the internet at the beginning. You're just sitting on a couch
Right.
by yourself, and now you're in these worlds, and now they're actually coming together in the real world and building up this entire like thing. So I feel like it's kind of like crypto, right?
It's
we're all coming
definitely
together
different.
as a family, and so you're gaining a different type of that same social interaction.
For
just
sure.
like a different side of it, maybe.
Well, video games have had virtual economies and virtual currency
Right.
for 25 years. The only thing that's been missing is the security of the blockchain.
Right.
And that's why it's a natural fit. I mean, it's so surprising to me when experts in the crypto field get up on stage and have no clue about token economics.
Right.
But yet they're the expert and they're telling you about it.
Yeah.
And we've done a real simple thing here lately that has really, I think, educated a lot of people well, is shown them and modeled. Our whole ecosystem is modeled after Magic the Gathering Online's ecosystem, which has been around. Let's talk about it as crypto terms, okay? They have had a stable currency since 2002. In that ecosystem, the Magic the Gathering online ticket is their virtual currency.
Okay.
It's just not on the blockchain. In 2002, it cost you $1 to buy. Today, if you log into Magic the Gathering Online, you know how much it costs you to buy?
No idea. But
$1. 2002 to today, it's maintained that dollar value. What is it used for? Well, in the game, they have it to where you use these Magic the Gathering Online tickets to buy your way into tournaments. What does the community use it for? To buy and sell everything, all the new cards, all the that kind of stuff, because they trade the cards back and forth, just like non-fungible tokens. They have different values that go up and down. If you and I are trading cards, we're going to get to an inequality. Well, you balance that out with Magic the Gathering Online tickets. I've seen people buy cars offline with Magic the Gathering Online tickets. They're
Really?
cash.
That's crazy.
The problem is if you try to cash them out, you have to go through eBay and PayPal. And there's more fraud
I
in
felt
that.
Right here. Damn. Just saying that word. Pull it out, please. That hurt.
So, but taking that direct ecosystem that has a really strong, thriving secondary market with all these marketplaces that pop up around these cards, and this demand because of the people playing the game, you take that and you put it on the blockchain, it is phenomenal. And that's what we're doing. And what we're doing is we're taking that little ecosystem and we're going to blow it up to the entire entertainment industry. Because non-fungible tokens are synonymous effectively with those Magic the Gathering Online cards. That's why Mountain Cox,
right.
evolved from Magic the Gathering Online into crypto, and
Yes,
now it's going to come
yes.
full circle kind of thing. So
Yeah, that's a great, crazy story on its own that we almost kind of want to get into, but let's not go there.
So if
we're
you're going to get into that, you need to talk to Austin about that.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. So we're going to talk about the Derby event going on soon, but I want to get one question in there for a couple friends of ours who are pretty gaming friendly, and I want to see if you have a story for them. Do you have any like really crazy OG gaming stories from back in the day, like from going through the building process, anything like that? Anything that sticks out as like blow your mind?
When John Carmack and Jay Wilbur came to our offices in Louisville, Kentucky, to try out what we did with their Wolfenstein 3D. We made Wolfenstein VR, but then took the source code and made it multiplayer.
Right.
Made Cybertech. Okay. And they were like, we've got to see a multiplayer version of our stuff, kind of thing. From their point of view, they got in there. I could not get them out of the system for 4 hours, kind of thing. So, we showed them how we did it over TCP/IP, and then they went and wrote new. That was, to me, it's epic in my mind. But another story is at Million Man Land. I had a game shop, effectively, where people came and just would do all-nighters and stuff like that. Well, a professional team came in with one of my regular players. His team came in from up in Ohio for Million Man Land. One of their guys got sick, so they put me on this pro team to play in a cash tournament.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, Andy, all you need to do is, at each map, they're like, you should sit right here, and anybody comes around that corner, you shoot them. You just stay there. We'll do everything else. Your job is just to protect this one hallway. So, that's pretty much every time, every single map, they would tell me where I sit and who I shoot. That kind of
That's awesome.
One time, the awesome part's coming up here. So, I wasn't half bad at the game. But, we get all the chatter going on, all of a sudden, everything goes silent. And then you hear the bomb ticking. And I hit my screen. I am the only one alive on my team.
Oh, no.
And everybody's alive on their team, and the bomb's going off. And, so it's like, I got to go defuse this thing by myself. As soon as I see that, because they can't talk to you once they're dead. They're not allowed to, right? Guy pops around the corner, boom, headshot. And, adrenaline just kicks in, and I just start running towards A, because that's what I'm like, it's got to be an A.
Nice.
If it's not an A, it doesn't matter. I'm dead. I don't have enough time to get over to B. So I one guy down. There's 4 more. Come around the corner, another guy, and I had the Desert Eagle out at that point. Pop, headshot. No idea how I got that one.
Nice.
Come around the corner, and there's a guy on the box. Pop, headshot, dead. 3 down. And then all of a sudden you hear, not over the microphone, you just hear, Andy, what the? And then I'm looking around and I'm sneaking over there closer. And another guy, he shoots at me, misses, pop, headshot. 4 headshots in a row. I'm not that good. And I'm like, okay, I've got a kit. There's the bomb. The guy's hiding around here somewhere, and he's better than I am, so I know that he's going to get to me. So I get up to the bomb. I'm like, all right. And I start diffusing for a second, and I pop up with my Desert Eagle, because I know he's going to be there. Sure enough, there he is. Took 2 shots, he's down, turned around, diffused bomb. Second left on the clock. That was a $600 round for me.
Oh, Jesus. That's awesome.
Because we got through that round,
Hell
we all
yeah.
made it to the next round, and we all got like $600 out of that. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
like,
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we got in the semifinals and we came in 4th. So yeah.
But
if it was,
to be able
that was the only time. It's like that was. It's
to
like
be
the
able to
only
make
time.
money, think about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What you just experienced, right? To be able to make money doing something that you're just having the time of your freaking life doing, and the adrenaline's rushing, and all this stuff's happening, right? To me, that's what crypto's like.
Oh well, yeah.
It really is. Dude, cryptocurrencies and this whole movement is all this adrenaline coming together because we're all striving to be on a level playing field, right?
Well, that's. To get the to level out the playing field, like what we're doing with the independent game developers, and getting them at a level playing field with the AAA games.
Right.
That to me is freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And it's only doable because of NFTs on the blockchain.
But before blockchain technology, before cryptocurrencies, what did we have to unite these passions and to bring these passions together that everybody can benefit from and have fun doing? What did we have?
Well, there are video games in that. There's a lot of video game developers that would just pour their hearts and souls in there, and they'd get their game out there, and they would pretty much, be lucky to make enough to make the next game.
Right.
So
all this opportunities come together for what? The growth of people.
Oh, exactly.
Right? And the growth of ideas, the growth of technology, and it's an exponential growth. It's this thing that it's like a snowball, and it just keeps getting bigger. And it boils down to creativity. Creativity, to me, in the world has increased exponentially, in my mind, from what I see, right? And I don't know if that's because I've been a carpenter for 30 years and I haven't seen the technology side of things grow as much as some people that have been in the tech industry.
People don't understand. I mean, the two things that drove the internet. First one.
TCP/IP.
No, they drove the two industries.
At the beginning, the military.
No, the first. Well, forgetting the military for a second. The two other industries. You have porn. and
we're
video
talking.
games.
Right.
See, I'm going
Okay.
too far back in time.
Yeah, right.
You got porn and video games,
Yes.
and that really drove the industry. People don't understand how big video games are. There's more people that watch esports than watch television.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, the
It is
concept of
crazy.
esports in general is like, because, I'm 30, so like when I was a kid, elementary school, N64.
Still a kid.
I'm still a kid. I'm just a very large, fuzzy child. It's a fact.
Right?
Don't ask my wife.
Hey, I'm still a kid.
Yeah, right?
Exactly, but I mean,
We're all
like the
kids at
N64
heart.
and the PS1 were coming out, and like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so excited. I mean, my first system, I had an Atari for just like that long, and I only remember it enough as like the video game system that my dad would bring out of the closet every once in a while, and I would try to jump over alligators, and that was it. But then
Sounds like,
the NES
jungle
was when I
thing.
really started getting into video games, because I was still in early elementary school with NES, and that really like stole my heart, and I was so excited by all that. And then the 64 and the PS1 and all that came out, and it's just to see how it's evolved from that stage to like now we're having these huge competitions, and it's like a sporting event.
People
and
are
it's
actually
like,
making money off
Yeah, like-
It's an Olympic sport now.
Exactly, it's
It's
crazy.
so crazy how it becomes such an accepted thing, like as it grows on people, and then it becomes a normal thing. Like at the time, it was like video games are going to melt your brain, and I know people still say that to some extent, but like we're finally recognizing.
There's something to be said
they
about-
do melt your brain.
There's something
So
to be
much.
said
I
about
mean-
human contact, about human interaction with one another, right? And I think technology's allowed these gamers to have more contact with their cohorts that are playing the game. And you're actually having that interaction. You might not be physical face to face, but you feel like it.
Well, right now, the visuals and the story are so compelling that they'll get you into the game, and it does feel like it. But the technology's out there today. Every single hardware technology that was shown in Ready Player One exists today.
Right.
The only thing that doesn't is the glue that marries them all together. Okay? So tactile feedback suits exist.
Yes.
Right.
Heat wind machines, the three-dimensional treadmills, they exist today.
Right.
So the things that you can do and the things that you can be
The barriers are gone.
in these experiences are so much more compelling than
Right.
the real world. Everybody's going to evolve into.
Because it's fantasy.
It's more though. It's real
But I mean,
and
it's
fantasy.
well, right. It is
Just wait
exactly.
until we
But the
can harness
feeling,
manipulation of the senses.
right? The feeling you get from it, right? That euphoria, right? If you could find that in life, just your everyday life, I feel like I'm there right now. This whole podcast that we do, and the
It's quite-
people that
quite a
we
good podcast. I
interact.
really like
Thank
it.
you very much. And the people we interact with, I don't know. To me, I could go broke tomorrow in the experience. I'm the richest man on earth.
Oh yeah, man.
And
It's all about the experience.
it is,
Time. All
and
right.
the people. So
So experiences. Let's jump into this real quick.
yeah, let's get off this.
I want to know. I just got to know, because this Run for the Unicorns is intriguing to me. So the Convergence Derby Week, like, just tell us about it. What is this?
Yes, please.
So, Run for the Unicorns is a play off of Run for the Roses, which is the Kentucky Derby. And everybody wants to be a unicorn or be with the unicorns in crypto space and in any technology space. So it's the convergence of all the bleeding edge technologies coming together. You've got crypto, you've got blockchain, you've got AI, AR, VR, Internet of Things, all of that coming together, and those are the technology companies that are represented there.
Nice.
And we do it Derby Week because we're trying to leverage the 1.2 million people that come into Louisville Derby Week, like South by Southwest did for Austin.
Okay.
And what we've put together here is we have a hackathon the weekend before.
Nice.
Okay. We have Shark Tank came in last year, and we expect them.
Actual Shark Tank.
They came in and did an
Awesome.
open casting call.
That's cool.
And we expect them to want to come back this year because we outdid all their second-tier markets.
Wow.
And
That's
this year,
impressive.
we did it on a weekday and outdid all the weekend second-tier markets.
Wow.
That's
So
impressive.
we're going to let them do it on a weekend this year.
Wow. Can you imagine the impact that it's
Well,
going to have?
we want to outdo at least one first-tier market.
To
I
be
think
able
we
to be
can.
a part of something like that and just, I don't know.
So-
I love
Cool.
people.
Where,
so-
where do
that
people go
was
to
really
learn more
good.
about that?
Runfortheunicorns.com. Let me, if I can finish
Yeah,
up.
no,
the
we're
week.
not done yet.
Okay, good.
Keep going. I just want to get that.
It's runfortheunicorns.com.
Beautiful.
So then Monday we do a VIP investor dinner kind of thing with everyone that basically starts off the week of the conference part. And Tuesday is my favorite. It's called Bourbon with Billionaires.
Ooh.
It is a bourbon trail where we get on buses. As
Now
you
you're
know, we're going to bring
speaking
the
my
crypto buses. We get
Right,
on buses early in the morning and we go down through Bardstown.
On this note, if you don't mind, I'm going to interrupt you for a second
Sure.
because Clint Westwood, we need the bus, brother. We're going to need the Bitcoin
We've already
bus.
talked about this. We're going
And
to talk about
we've
a
already
Bitcoin
set
bus
you up.
overhaul.
You're scheduled.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in Kentucky, and we are gonna do this, and we're gonna use the Bitcoin bus, buddy.
Sorry, man.
All right,
Sorry.
so Bourbon with Billionaires. We get on buses at 8 in the morning. We go through all day. It's an all-day thing through 3 different distilleries, and they teach you everything about bourbon. Because every bourbon is a whiskey, but not every whiskey is a bourbon.
This is true.
Okay, so you get off those buses as a family. You get on as strangers. You get off as a family.
That's
right?
awesome.
And that's the Tuesday. Then Wednesday and Thursday we have a conference where we brought in a lot of big players like John Nigerian and David Bishop from Bandai Namco and Kevin Williams. A lot of big players doing some really good talks. You can see them all online. And then every night there's derby events, obviously. And then Friday we go to the Kentucky Oaks as a group. Friday night we have the Unicorn Ball. Everybody loves the Unicorn Ball. And Saturday we end up going to the Derby.
So it's a full week event.
Oh yeah, it's a
What does
full-
something like this cost to get into?
VIP tickets are $600, which includes Oaks and Derby.
Right on.
That's like way cheaper than any crypto.
Yeah.
convention.
Yeah. You got any need for a podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want
We'll
to do
talk
some
about
podcasts from there.
VIP
Awesome.
passes or
That'd
something.
be
We
awesome.
definitely have some. We can work something out.
Opportunities.
We can do
right?
some unicorn trading.
Beautiful.
Unicorn
you've
trading.
It's
already
like horse
hooked us up
trading,
enough
only with
today, but we'll
unicorns.
take some more.
I'm down, man. Unicorns are magical, brother. They
Exactly.
are.
Yes,
they
exactly.
are. You know. I just got to say this. This has been a pretty awesome podcast, and I really enjoyed the company here. My son probably will enjoy this more, even though he's probably never watched one of our podcasts. But he's really into video games, and he has been for quite some time. So I think he's gonna get a lot out of this.
He's gonna be all like
You know,
Queen
and I'm all about innovation and bringing people together, and I think that's what this is doing.
Cool. Well, hopefully you all participate in our scavenger hunt with our trade binder.
Okay.
Because we got the app in the app store right now.
Right on.
We did a scavenger hunt around here. We'll finish out throughout the whole week, and that's really we're testing because we're launching next month at IAPA. So
Oh, wow.
our stuff goes live next month.
Right.
And yeah, that's why a month ago I didn't have gray hair.
Whatever. Mine was 6 months ago, right? I didn't have gray hair back then either.
But yeah, no. But I mean, we're literally burning all the midnight oil, and I was lucky to get away to come to this conference. But still,
We're
Okay,
glad you
so
did.
I got an off-the-wall question for you.
Okay.
If you could replace your feet with any inanimate object, what would it be?
replace my feet with
Mm-hmm.
any inanimate object. Well, my feet have been barking all day.
Right? I should say marshmallows.
Oh my gosh, that was in my head. That was in my head. So I can't say marshmallows.
Was it really?
It was
Are
right
you
there.
kidding?
About,
Oh
yeah,
my
it
God.
It hurt. So
Right?
yes, it was in my head. Let's see. Any,
Little
oh
telepathy
man.
action happening.
Right, yeah.
What else are you picking up over there right now?
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
Any-
I'm not going to
and
say it now because I don't want to
But you
ruin
were
his
saying
thoughts.
that was marshmallows right there. I'm gonna have to say some kind of foam pillows right now.
There you go. I was thinking
Yeah,
pillows
there
too.
you go.
I was
Yeah,
going to
so
say
some kind
pillows.
of foam pillows, because man, I mean, my
They're
feet,
barking, huh?
They're barking. I mean, being on your feet all day, every day on these things, they can
Right.
get to you.
It
Yeah.
gets
Right.
to you. It gets to you.
This podcast has been awesome. Thank you so
Hey,
much for
thank
coming
you.
on our
Thank
show.
you for
We appreciate it.
having me.
It's a great one.
Looking forward to the events this evening, the events later this week, and getting together and spending some more time together.
Great. I
Awesome.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Pleasure. It was
Sounds
great.
good, man.
Guys,
All right,
thanks for
guys.
joining.
Thanks for joining.
You guys take care. We'll catch you on the next one. Who knows when that's going to be? Could be sooner. Could be later. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace. Great podcast.